Greetings and welcome back to the weekly news roundup. I hope that intro sound played. I didn't hear it on the last week's either as I edited the podcast, which I actually did already. And I just noticed in OBS it's been muted. So I don't know, but I did fix the desktop audio. So if that is an issue this week, we have that taken care of. We will be doing a little bit of travel for the next few days, but I have a great video set up for Saturday and already one for Monday morning in case I'm not back in early enough time to get that up. So we'll at least have videos done. And then, of course, the three we'll record today in the weekly news roundup are going to be out there also. Sound on the intro is not there. Okay. That would be an SUP if you are in any way working with, end consumer level 1, but level text. An SUP is a stupid user problem. And the stupid user was me, and that audio bit was muted in OBS. So that should be fixed for next week. Anyway, if you want to help support the channel, have a look over at the website over there at switchedtolinux.com/support if you want to help support the channel over there. Also, during the live stream, we do have super chats enabled on YouTube, and we have Rumble rants over on Rumble. You can support over there if you are inclined to do so. Of course, we do not take any sponsorships, even though actually a company that I like reached out. I'm like, wow, it's actually the company, which was kind of neat. I didn't block them like I usually do. I'm going to email them back and let them know, hey, I like your products, but I don't do sponsorships. But I do use a few affiliates. Those are listed over on that page there. Of course, our main way to support the channel is those chats and local Subscribestar and Patreon. There's LibrePay there as well. Always a little leery of that one. TechLore had his whole Stripe account deleted because of LibrePay. I don't know. I'll promote that one as much as maybe I should. But anyway, there's always that. And let's see. I don't know if I have any other specific announcements. I'm trying to set this at this angle here. It's better for the mic. Maybe it's a little bit of a different look. I don't know. How is it? But I don't know. Let me know your thoughts about all of that. But let's go ahead and jump on into the news. Welcome back to the weekly news roundup. We have an excellent show here today, and I just found a grouping of articles. Of course, we always beat to death all of the data centers and the AI and all this kind of stuff. Rightly so. I mean, AI is going to destroy us. Okay, just so you know. I mean, now I can't tell for sure. Is it going to be Terminator? They become self-sentient and blow us up. They might just blow us up. Just not because they're like sentient per se, but that just something triggers, somebody does something that vehement radical people on one side or the other say is absolute epitome of evil, and AI is going to look down and go, they're evil, and they're going to connect the bomb. Especially since one of the articles we'll have on our QuickLines this week talks about satellites can now find targets without human intervention. That's wonderful. Oh dear. So it may not be fully sentient, but something there may very well come online as an accidental code. Or are they going to slave us full on Matrix style, or just going to put us into the Matrix and use our body energy to power their crazy digital world? Very similar outtakes to like 9. I don't mention 9 as much. That's just engaging in another war, much like Terminator. They're online, and the machine takes over all of the war. Or is it going to be iRobot? We're being imprisoned. Why? Because if the end result of the 3 laws is to protect human life, humans are best protected if they're completely restrained, locked up, and have no autonomous freedoms. You can't drive a car. People die in car accidents, and you can't eat whatever food we currently say, because that'll lead to heart disease. So basically, everybody gets locked into their prison, controlled by the AI robot force. What is the way we're going to be taken out by AI? I don't know, but as we'll get to the end of this, Illinois has an interesting new stance that makes me scratch my head and go, WTF? What? Stay tuned for it, folks. This is a great one. But of course, it all kind of starts with and a survey came out of WordPress, or Automatic is the company behind WordPress. And shockingly, I'm not bringing them up to talk about how stupid they are, which is usually what happens when I talk about WordPress. But this one here, they did they're integrating AI into WordPress.com, that you can do a bunch of AI stuff. But they end up interacting with some of their consumers to find out interesting things. And it turns out 60% of US consumers say AI in brand messaging is a huge turnoff. Meanwhile, you cannot rank unless you rank for your AI. And so all you guys wanting to rank on your websites, and there's a few of you in the chat, the latest thing right now is never mind what the people want. Just rank for AI, because of course the AI agents are coming online and they'll be able to buy things. And we'll see that Visa is turning over its purchasing power to AI agents. So that is both bad and really bad. But looking at this here, 60% of U.S. consumers say that AI in brand messaging is a turnoff. As brands race to have their links appear in AI search results, because what other search is there anymore? You know, you can go to noai.duckduckgo.com and get a search engine without any AI at all. I'd be better, I think, if they made their DuckDuckGo that and then do ai.duckduckgo.com if you want all the AI frills. Because right now, a lot of browsers, even if it's not set as a default, is an option without you having to add an extra search engine into your web browser. Most web browsers now support DuckDuckGo as an option. It'd be really cool if we had an option pre-selected, pre-installed on a typical web browser that did not have AI. DuckDuckGo, you want to go the rest of the way on this one, let me know. But as brands race to have their links appear in AI search results, consumers have grown more skeptical about whether they can actually trust the answers they're getting. I mean, you mean a long walk across the Golden Gate Bridge will clear your mind if you're feeling self-delatory? I mean, what do you mean Elmer's glue is going to help hold my pizza? My cheese on my pizza, and how many rocks should we be eating, Google? Inquiring minds want to know. But per the report, 60% of consumers in the U.S. say that brands that use AI in their messaging are a turnoff, and 86% don't fully trust AI and still want to explore the original sources. But don't forget, Google is doing these things that they're doing because that is their plan. If you remember that interview from Eric Schmidt, former CEO of Google, where he said that when you go to Google and type in a query and you get a list of answers, he says that's wrong. He says you should get one answer. That is what Google is doing right now. They are integrating this one answer. Of course, what is that one answer? Well, it is precisely what the narrative wants you to think. Of course, if you're looking for anything else or disagree with that AI, you are immediately a dissident. And you're on that same list of people who engage in gardening and canning. I don't remember if we talked about that or not, but Facebook a few years ago, if you mentioned anything about gardening or canning, basically like prepping stuff, you were labeled by Facebook internally as an extremist to watch out for, because Lord forbid we have food, even though the current projections are such that sometime either late this summer or into early next spring, food will become astronomically more expensive due to rising gas prices and rising fertilizer costs and some climate effects as well, all leading to a much smaller food supply source than usual. So maybe the government should step in and tell farmers to stop dumping the milk to control the price. We might need those calories. All right. So as companies invest more in making their brand visible to AI search engines, consumers are placing greater value on transparency and attribution. Yeah, they kind of want to know where you're getting the answer from. Where did you get that answer that Elmer's glue will hold the cheese onto your pizza? Oh, the Onion? One of them came from the Onion. I think it was the how many pebbles can you eat? I think came from the Onion. I think the glue came from Reddit, of course. But now if you have to have to build websites for AI agents acting on behalf of people. If your site's content isn't legible to AI, you are invisible to a growing share of how people search. You don't exist. And if your content doesn't feel human and trustworthy, for the tiny percent of people who actually click past the AI answers, they won't come back a second time. So WordPress VIP says that the findings point to a future where brands have to navigate both AI visibility and human trust simultaneously, and I have no earthly idea how one would potentially straddle that particular line. But getting on to the data centers, people don't want the AI, but the AI data centers must go on, such that this Texas farmer donated his land for building a park, specifically in the deed to build a park, and the city sold it for $10 million to a data center company. Yep, that happened. And I do love the not to be reporting on this one. I don't know how these data center stories keep on turning out to be comically evil like this, but it's astonishingly how much bad PR an industry can rack up in a short amount of time. In fact, I was looking at another resource on this. There was actually an amazing 2-hour video from TrueStream Media came out yesterday, and I was like, oh man, the TrueStream Media ones are pretty good, but lately they've been a little on the a little on the wonky side, and like 2-hour one. I'll give it like 10-15 minutes. That thing hooked me so bad. It ended up being, it's something about alien invasion, but it's actually about the alien invasion is the AI taking over every corner of our life. I think it was on that video, maybe it was another one, where they were talking about the data centers, and it was somebody doing one of those spoof articles that, if you want to go in and get a library built with a botanical garden on the roof and all solar and completely green, it'll be like 2 to 4 decades for us to review the permitting process. Oh, I'd like to tear up the entire landscape and put in a data center. We'll have that thing built like 6 months from now, and it was a shocking thing to recognize that, yes, where so much red tape, you realize the Palisades fire is over a year ago in California. The only houses that have been rebuilt already had their permitting in place beforehand. Not a single house has been rebuilt in the Palisades fire because there's so much red tape to get anything built in Los Angeles. Yet data centers can spin up all over the place. There's we'll spin them, but we just don't have the capacity to hook them up to the electrical grid yet. Fine, we just want the building, we'll figure out the power later. We'll bring in them jet engines when Elon Musk is done with them. You know what I mean? But in this one here in Taylor, Texas, the farmer donates it, and according to documents that were reviewed by 404 Media, it was specifically to build a park. Like, land reverts to family if a park is not built. So they donate it to the Texas that does the parks, and the parks give it to another organization that does like land management, and then the land management's like, I don't know what to do. They gave it to the city, and then the city just like, hey, we got a big thing here. Let's have a data center. We'll make $10 million on it. You know what I mean? And that's what ended up happening. So hopefully, I think the original person who donated land has since passed away, I believe. But this has actually created some legal fire that they may or may not actually be able to build this data center in the end. It'd be really awesome if they were forced to give the money back and still build a park on top of it. That would be totally epic. But as I was looking at all of this and going, what in the world's going on? And weird thing out of dealing with AI is coming out of Illinois. I'm actually going to look at this one first, though, because also in AI, or in Illinois, excuse me, this is not dealing with AI. It's just pointing to how insane Illinois is getting right now. And it's always been insane. In fact, I do have a fun Illinois story. Illinois is it's like the spot, you kind of have to drive through it if you're going through the country, unless you're going to way down south. But there's these excessively restrictive pew laws. And so, you got to have that whole, disassemble the thing and block it over here and lock the things that go bang over here and stuff like this. And then one day I'm just like, all right, I got to drive to Illinois. I'm just going to drive straight through. I'm not even going to stop. Well, Southern Illinois does not particularly like Cook County. That's where Chicago is. And they have a lot different laws and feel a lot different. I'm looking at like, okay, where can I overnight tonight? And I see this spot called Turkey Bayou in Southern Illinois. I'm like, that's okay. I can stay there. I can't find anything else nearby. Let's just go there. It was so amazing. I ended up staying for a week. I didn't want to stay in Illinois, but it was pretty good down here, you know? So Illinois, though, they are completely backwards. These people are nuts over there. So much so that the last minute on a budget spending bill, they added in a 0.2% tax on any business activity involving digital assets. And so basically, if you donate to a content creator who happens to be in Illinois, the state's going to take 0.2% of that. If you want to take that money from your crypto wallet into your bank account, the state's still going to take another 0.2%. Now, some have argued, obviously, this might very well be unconstitutional, and I'm not sure it is, because the state is sovereign over creating its own tax laws, which is crazy. So you guys in Illinois, you just need to make a massive ruckus with your state and get this crap overturned. Of course, this got thrown in last minute on a budget bill. Like nobody even had a chance to review it. The law enacted a 0.2% tax on, quote, receiving any digital asset business activity, end quote. According to the text of the bill, which defined digital assets business activity as, quote, any single occurrence of exchanging, transferring, or storing digital assets as part of a business or on behalf of a customer. So basically this stuff, like, it gets this tax no matter what happens. So it gets put into there, it gets taxed. It gets taken out, it gets taxed. It gets moved to your account, it gets taxed. That's insane. And because it's just your money going in between your places, that's what caused some people to suggest that could very well be illegal. The question is it going to be challenged in court, and which direction does the court happen to take it? That happens to be at the mind of where we're going. So the provision was added last minute to an Illinois broader budget bill, and this is why bills should never have multiple. There should never be a case where one vote is impacting multiple laws. One vote, one law. One vote, one law. That needs to be federal law. That way you can't have, 16 different little things put into some other bill. It's like, I don't know. I'm not going to make something up because it's going to be insane and possibly risking monetization or something. Anyway, the bill is also broad. It may cover digital money beyond crypto access, such as electronic bank transfers. Yeah. Every time money swipes, the government just wants to take 0.2%. You might think that's insane. Like, yeah, but that's Illinois. They're always insane. This is the one that saw how good New York City's law was going to say, hey, yeah, we're never going to lock anybody up outside of like excessively violent crimes. So this caused a massive uptick in theft in New York City, even though the reported thefts are not as high, because people know you report a petty theft, the police aren't even going to respond. So Illinois just looks at this because that sounds amazing, and they passed it for their whole state. And I have not actually seen if crime numbers going up. It's hard to tell because there's too much violence in the state anyway. Certainly offset by Chicago. But unlike traditional tax frameworks that are tied to income, gains, or profits, this law would impose a 0.2% tax on everyday customers' use of digital asset services such as exchange, transfers, or custody activities. How about just swiping a credit card? Is every transaction on a credit card? I mean, that's transferring digital assets around, depending on what you consider as a digital asset or not. So setting the framework for how insane Illinois is becoming, look at this law. This one makes you scratch your head and go, what? Yeah, this is the Artificial Intelligence Safety Act. And of course, as you know, if a bill says it does this, it usually does the opposite. No kidding. Artificial Intelligence Safety Acts provides the developer of a frontier artificial intelligence model shall not be held liable for critical harms caused by the frontier model if the developer did not intentionally or recklessly cause the critical harms, and the developer publishes a safety and security protocol transparency report on its website. Provided the developer shall be deemed to have complied with these requirements, the developer A agrees to be bound by the safety and security requirements adopted by the European Union. Now, if you know anything about geography, you know that Illinois is like right in the middle of the United States. I mean, okay, it's a little bit east of middle, a little bit north of central, but it's still in the middle of the United States. Oh, they need to adopt safety protocols established by the European Union? Do we need any more evidence that the New World Order is trying to take over? I mean, the European laws are now impacting Illinois. Okay. 2, it enters in agreement with an agency of the federal government here that satisfied specified requirements. It sets forth requirements for safety and security protocols, transparency reports, and provides the act shall no longer apply if the federal government enacts a law or adopts a regulation that establishes overlapping requirements for developers of frontier models. Now, that's the summary, and you might think of the summary and go, I don't know what's going on. Now, let me say first and foremost that this is just being proposed right now. It is a partisan bill introduced by a Democrat who might need a checkup from the neck up. I want to look at just a couple of points of text here. So I'm going to look at this. Here is their definition of critical harm. Remember, the bill holds the AI company faultless of critical harm. Critical harm means the death or serious injury of 100 or more people, or at least $1 million, there's not $1 billion, I'm sorry, of damages to rights and property caused or material enabled by a frontier model through either the creation of a chemical, biological, radiological, or nuclear weapon, or engaging in conduct that acts with no meaningful human intervention, or B, would, if committed by a human, constitute a criminal offense that requires intent and recklessness or negligence. You are holding the AI harmless? Did I get that right? Let's see. Provides that the developer of a frontier model shall not be held for critical harms. So, you're not going to be held for critical harms if your AI generates a mass critical casualty event. Illinois, are you okay? Yeah. All you have to do is you just have to have a safety protocol on your website. Talk about taking informed consent to the nth degree. I just don't even know what to do. I mean, come on, man. The developer means a person or organization that have trained or initiated the training of at least one frontier model. Of course, the frontier model of an artificial intelligence model is one that trained users greater than 10 to the 26 computational operations, has a compute cost exceeding $100 million. So yeah, we have serious issues. Now, while this is happening on this end of the country, Germany of all places seems to be somewhat sane in this regard, in that a German court just held that Google can in fact be held liable for false AI overviews. So Google can now be held liable in Germany if it has misinformation in the AI overview. But if it builds a nuclear explosion and sets it off over in Illinois, it will be held harmless. Yeah. So if you happen to live in Illinois, you might want to get a hold of your Congress people and maybe get this guy who proposed this bill off of all committees. He seems to be insane. Introduced February 4th, 25% progression. Rule 3.9, referring assets. Let's see. Assigned to AI and social media. Filed by Senator Bill Cunningham. So if you are in a district with Bill Cunningham, y'all might want to think about voting this guy out. Okay, he seems to be crazy. He just does not seem to think that AI companies should be held liable if their AI causes serious explosions, mass casualty events, whatever else. I don't know what else to say about that other than happy hunting, Skynet. Let me know your thoughts about all that in the comments down below. All right. Move on to topic number 2. Welcome back to the weekly news roundup. And today we want to focus a little bit on an ed tech company that is being sued in the state of California. And the allegations are such that they're using the data to profit or to make other products and things like that. And there's been a little bit of a spat. This was actually filed in December. There was just this week, there was a motion to dismiss and a counter motion saying, no, that's dumb. And let's go ahead and have a look at a few of the points here. So California parents sue iReady maker over student data collection. So this is a private equity firm running a company called Curriculum Associates. They have a number of things, including this iReady tests. So the program violates privacy laws, which has led to a debate over whether iReady is actually beneficial to students. The lawsuit alleges Curriculum Associates collects student data and shares it with third parties for commercial purposes without adequate consent from parents and students. The company boasts more than $750 million in annual revenue, primarily from contracts with school districts across the country. And collecting data, including students' race and gender, grade level, responses to iReady assessment questions, time spent answering its questions, and more. The company also collects students' IP address, school name, disability status, and eligibility for school lunches, because, that's critical information to know when you're giving a test. Excuse me, child, before I give you this test, I need to know, or do you qualify for school-free lunches? All right. So parents do not know this is happening. We trust that our kids are protected, and that includes our data, one of the parents says. Us checking off a box giving permission for them to use the internet at school should not entail this level of data farming on them. Curriculum Associates details these practices in a company policy, but denies allegations that they constitute unnecessary data collection without consent. Remember, without consent, this is that checkbox that you agree to the terms of service every time you download an app, and you probably have never read it. Yeah, they are counting you checking that as providing full consent to doing whatever. And the problem that the parents have here is that, like most of this digital assets, the school is setting the student's account up. And the parent is just, did you agree to it or not? And of course, if you say, no, I do not agree to the internet for my children, then you're going to be run through all sorts of weird things, like you're a barbarian abusing your child, And so Curriculum Associates discloses information to the school district and district customers about the data collection and obtains consent through them. And that's one of the hinge-pins of the lawsuit, that the Curriculum Associates is receiving consent from the school, not from the parent. And while in theory this iReady test should be optional, there are some districts in Los Angeles area where these students originate from, which are still mandating it. And Curriculum Associates is kind of recommending the school mandates it because, it's so much better for data collection. You can assess your students so much better if we collect all their data. So the parent groups call on the districts to examine the policies. School boards, Schools Beyond Screens is a nonprofit set up to raise concerns about ed tech companies. So if you have children in school and you are concerned about it, you might reach out to Schools beyond screens to see if there's anything you can do in coordination with them. So it's actually, so let's see, we're asking to take a little bit more of a critical look at technology, examine, has it actually helped learning, has it harmed learning, and just determining what evidence is it actually showing. Those are the things they want to know. So EdTech uses class time and district funds. So Julie Van Winkle, Vice President of the American Federation of Teachers branch of the union, says that she noticed significant uptick in private contact since LA Unified School District Superintendent Alberto Carvalho, I think I got that right, took office in 2022. Now, I actually saw these articles a while ago, but they were a little bit too political, so I didn't actually cover them. But this guy here, is it Carvalho, I think it is. Carvalho was placed on leave in February after the FBI raided his home and the LAUSD's headquarters. The search reportedly tied to investigation of edtech company All Here, which was paid $3 million to develop a chatbot for the district in 2024. Carvalho was reportedly a major proponent of the company and its product. And Guardian is being too generous. The creator of All Here was a close personal friend of Calvero. Okay. So literally this guy takes over the superintendent reins and says, hey, let's take this $3 million and pay my best friend. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to get super loud like that. My apologies. I hear the criticisms when people say I'm a little too loud sometimes. And I'm trying to temper that down. I know some of you love it, but I don't know. I agree. And I wouldn't want to listen to it if it's going quiet and then really loud. So my apologies. But anyway, what our students need particularly, and all students really need, is that human face-to-face interaction. And I would agree with that. So EdTech debate hits home for LAUSD. So LAUSD is currently overhauling its tech policies. School board approved a measure to limit student screen time for the next school year back in April. So that's actually pretty good. So I want to have a look at this curriculum associates here. And this is actually their data, their data privacy law. So this is their general one. Now, they also have a separate policy for several of the different products as well. Of course, they say up here, we do not sell any information that identifies you personally, like your name or your phone number. Notice the qualifiers. We do not sell any information that identifies you personally, like your name or your phone number, which means, yes, we're selling a bunch of data about you. It just doesn't include your name or your phone number. Now, we can infer that from everything else we have, of course. It's easy to do, especially in the world of AI. But under CPRA and other state laws, that's the California one, you have the right to opt out of the sale or sharing your personal information to third parties, and some of those disclosures to our advertising partners may be considered sales under those laws, even though we do not obtain any monetary or other compensation for such engagements. So we don't sell your information, but what we do constitutes a sale under the California Privacy Rights Act. You just can't make this stuff up. You guys ever read these privacy policies? These are fun. You know? I mean, all right. Our partners may use non-cookie technologies that may not be impacted by browser settings that block cookies. That white section I didn't highlight was, hey, you can block some of this stuff by blocking cookies in your web browser. I mean, it may not work, but so they also have partners that use non-cookie technologies that may not be impacted by browser settings that block cookies, or your browser may not permit you to block such technologies. To opt out from receiving interest-based advertising, including ads served through non-cookie technologies, please visit the NAA website opt-out page. So that actually goes over to this page over here, and then there's another one over here. This is a big data marketing firm that if you give them your data, they pinky promise and spit shake not to market to you directly anymore. So there you go. And they have some things to mention. How do you exercise, how do you exercise your rights? I shouldn't have to exercise my rights. I should just have them. Okay. This is ridiculous. Okay, here's browser privacy settings. Of course, these are the same people, trying to lobby against using Tor, because I don't want you following me around the internet like a crazy stalker, Advertising privacy settings on mobile, of course, adjusting your settings to that. Advertising privacy settings on TVs and streaming devices. There you go. And ad choices external. Visit the DDA's website to learn about the tools to request opt-outs of internet-based advertising and with participating companies. Your ad choices gives you control. Ad choices. Where did I see that? Oh, that's owned by Google. Yeah. So give them your information. They pinky promise and spit shake not to share your data. So with respect to personal information collected by Curriculum Associates in connection with a form you complete that was related to a region or product-specific marketing campaigns, those are going through ReadyBot. And for this one, you can subsequently opt out of CA's future use and collection of personal information by sending an email to this company here. They've sent us to 4 different places to stop buying and selling and trading our data. Do you feel comfortable with this being the company administering tests to your children? Here's your right to delete. There are a number of exceptions. Okay, you have the right at any time to request we delete your personal information. There are a number of exceptions to this right. However, if one of those exceptions that is applicable, we will not delete your data. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see. As described in our privacy policy, as described in our anti-privacy policy, we engage in certain trusted third parties to perform functions and provide services. They're the ones that the government tells us constantly leak our data. So these companies do direct to marketing campaigns. How do you do a direct marketing campaign without somebody's information? You can't. By mere definition, it's direct. It goes directly to the person you're sending it to. We use Nextdoor for certain marketing analytic purposes. Their privacy obligations and practices are described in more detail here. I think that's supposed to be a link because I didn't see anything else about Nextdoor anywhere else in this policy. Of course, there's nothing there. We may share your personally identifiable information with these third parties, but only to the extent necessary to perform the functions. So are you sharing our data or are you not? I'm a little confused. Confuzzlication has hit my neurons. All right, so residents of California, Colorado, Connecticut, Utah, Virginia may exercise their rights under applicable state laws by emailing us, ciinc.com, or calling the following toll-free number, 800-225-0248. Depending on the nature, we may have to verify your identity prior to responding. If we are not able to respond to any more than one right to know request from a consumer in a 12-month period of time. So you can reach out to them once and that's it. Of course, in the lawsuit, as alleged, reading through the lawsuit, the parents actually alleged that they contacted them utilizing this and never heard anything at all. And then everyone just kept on passing the buck. I pulled the lawsuit. I was not actually able to highlight anything in here. So I'm hoping I can find a few things. We're obviously not going to look through whole 115 pages. I remember there being something around here at point 15 I liked. Any purported consent was not provided by a person with authority to do so. Curriculum Associates students, users are minors, and Curriculum Associates does not claim it contains consent from parents or even from students themselves. The extent Curriculum Associates purports to obtain consent, it relies on the consent of the school personnel alone, but school personnel do not have the authority to consent to data harvesting of minor students by a private company. Only parents do. Indeed, the interests of the school administrators may not be aligned with those of the students, disqualifying them from serving as students' agents in this context. That is why the law highly restricts what kinds of information that even a school may collect from students and how school personnel may use such information, let alone what a private vendor may do. They allege that Curriculum Associates have been collecting and using student information for years without effective consent, does not confer legality on its business practices, no adverse possession of the law, violations are violations, regardless of whether the practices have been generally accepted within an industry or conferred some benefit. So they mention here privacy is a fundamental right. I don't think our country lives by that idea. It should, but I don't think it does. And so let's see. I want to get into a lot of these sound on the surface like, yeah, if true, that's crazy. So maybe they're asking for a case so they can go to discovery. But it actually does turn out. They did a whole section here on that iReady diagnostics reports. So the collection of the reports generally administered 3 times per school year used to measure students' proficiency in reading and mathematics, and a series of reports generated by Curriculum Associates based on students' assessment results, purporting to provide conclusions. Now, when they asked for data and finally got data, one of the parents just got a bunch of raw data. They never got this report that Curriculum Associates says they generate. So obviously, they did not provide the information correctly. So the standards mastery and standards master reports are in there. The personalization is in there. I wanted to skip down. These are just examples of the questions. That's, whatever, just there for completion probably. I wanted to get down to, they have a section down here about what data is actually collected. But then what was interesting to me here, all right, so here is Curriculum Associates creates and collects a sweeping array of data from students who use its products, including plaintiffs. Now, remember, they said we're just assessing the students. By the way, the best way to assess a student is blindly. You shouldn't know their race. You shouldn't know their gender. You shouldn't know their age. You should just have a test, trust that the person who gave them the test considered it an appropriate test for that particular student. And the best thing, that's why as a former college professor, it's always best. I used to grade the papers kind of backwards that I couldn't see who the names were. You always have trouble students. You always have amazing students. You don't want the student's name at the top of the paper to bias your grading. And so I'd usually do them backwards. So I never saw the first page where their name was on it until I was effectively done grading each paper. It did a really good job for, making sure that you weren't accidentally biased. Not that I would be biased. I mean, I taught chemistry. It's pretty black and white, You're either going to blow something up AI style or you're not. Okay. And so what they're saying here, though, is that Curriculum Associates creates and collects a sweeping array of data from students who use its products, including plaintiffs. As evidenced by Curriculum Associates' terms of service, documents provided by Curriculum Associates, and the MC1 and MC2 are the children of the one plaintiffs. Documents produced by the plaintiffs had the following information: their first name, last name, date of birth, gender, state identification, username. Is the student Hispanic or Latino? What's the student's race? And what's the student's identification number? All irrelevant information. They had the plaintiff's enrollment data, the student's grade level, the academic year, the school enrollment, the student's class enrollment, the name of the student's teacher, the state identification number of the student's school, whether the student is an English language learner, whether the student is in special education. These are things that violate I forget which one, the Child Education Acts. Whether the student is in special education, the student's English language classification, and the language which the student's assessment lesson was conducted. The plaintiff's assessment process and behavioral data, the student's activity ID, plaintiff's response to questions, whether the student answered the questions, start and completion of these, the time spent on each question. All of those, this last list, I can understand because you're administering a test. But then they have psychometric and outcome data. Obviously, this is stuff that they would be able to infer based on the data collected for the test. That first two lists, completely unnecessary. This last list, yes, I can understand that one. I don't have a particular problem. They also, though, knew a unique device identifier. This is effectively personally identifiable information. The device type, IP address, browser type, browser settings, and operating system information. You know what? That is irrelevant information for a test. In addition to data described here, Curriculum Associates also obtains the following from every student using iReady at one or both plaintiff school districts: student's email address, student's ethnicity, foster youth stats. Yeah, the testing company owned by private equity really needs to know if your child is a foster student, a foster child. They really need that. Whether the student is disabled, identification number of a student's school district, name of the school the student attends, state at which a student school is located, relevant student usage and achievement, data which can be probed to get an item level. Anytime we talk about probing in students, this is just wrong. Detailed information regarding student skill and mastery level, any activity data may be assessed, and blah, blah. Messages sent, resources created, coursework, including external and resource links utilized. Yeah. And so they say here this far exceeds educational records, and I agree with them on that. Now, the last thing I did want to mention, this gets into the part we're not going to cover here. I just mentioned it. And, the plaintiffs tried to get the information pursuant to the privacy policy and were stonewalled into it. But what's interesting to me is they actually, the legal team prior to filling this out actually had a forensic analysis of everything going on. I want to get down to that part down there if I can find it. This is the allegations of what they're doing with all of the data. This is the section on shares data for commercial purposes. The Curriculum Associates discloses student personal information to a host of third parties, including schools, educators, also private companies for commercial purposes, such as affiliates and investors, because we all need our affiliates and investors knowing information about our children, right? So they disclose personal information to third parties, and you remember, we read that in their privacy policy. Yes, we give this information to your third parties. Those third parties, they pinky promise and spit shake not to abuse that data. Do I still have that up? Yeah, it might have been under a different one. But yeah, they actually mention in here that they actually mentioned in their terms of service, one of their privacy policies, they actually said, yes, we give this personally identifiable information to third parties under an exclusive agreement that they will not share that data. It's like a red light. It doesn't actually stop the car from going through the intersection. You have to trust the moron driving, okay? And when you're talking about third parties, the third parties are morons that can't be trusted. The federal government has told us that. And I believe them because nearly every one of these data breaches that I'm constantly seeing is all done by third parties. It's like, we're looking for a sieve to put all this data into, you know? Have we checked in Amazon S3 calendar? So what the sub-processors, hosting companies, information technology, customer support, that same like customer support that was checking and verifying your IDs with Discord, that customer support. Very, very, very elegant at handling your personally identifiable information. Data security companies, consumer research services. That's right. Yes. We are absolutely, it is imperative that we collect your personal information of your student and we hand it on to consumer research services. Yeah. These are all things mentioned in their privacy policy. Educational research services. I do not consent to my child's data being used for your research. Go get your own data for research, And frankly, I know what these teachers do. I don't really want them. Now, this is actually the part to me that said, okay, they're actually up to something not right here. Forensic analysis revealed CA shares plaintiff's data with third parties in real time. And the reality is, Curriculum Associates may not even realize they share data with these parties in real time. Just like the FTC, whatever, cracked down on medical companies and financial companies that had Facebook tracking pixels in there. Why? Because the third-party subcontractors that they hired out to build these platforms you got to have a Facebook tracking pixel in there. And so the people running these things, the CEOs, guys make decisions, they're like, well, I don't know what that is, but okay, if you need it. And they put it in, and before you know it, all the information on this highly sensitive medical or financial, or in this case, education data is going right on back in real time to the company, and there's no earthly reason that actually needs to happen, because the people buying the websites is incompetent. The people building the website, they're just like, well, everyone needs this, so let's go ahead and include it, because they don't know what the laws are. And then the CEO's just like, well, just make it happen. And so nobody has any care what's going on, because this is a private equity firm. They have one thing in mind: making money. And the more data they collect, the more money they got. And that's how it happens. So they did forensic analysis to find that, yes, indeed, they were actually sharing information with third parties. Whether or not the company agreed with that or not, believe that was happening. It's like we're not sharing any information. We're just using Google Analytics. Do you know what information Google Analytics can collect on you? Oh, yeah. And by the way, you're not supposed to put it with the inside of things where children are. It's like, what are you doing with Google Analytics? Oh boy, we've ranted about this company for long enough. Just to suffice it to say, guys, we need to take a very strong stance against edtech. Let's not forget, Steve Jobs did not allow his kids to go to school where they would use computers. Bill Gates did not let his kids go to school to where they could use computers. Zuckerberg said he would not let his kids on Facebook. Sam Altman said he would not let his kids use ChatGPT. These are important things to keep in mind. We also have a lot of research that says that schools that back off of technology, keep phones out of the classrooms, and minimize the technology being used in schools tend to have much, much better, more positive educational outcomes. Technology does not help us learn. Technology helps us get tasks accomplished faster. And take it from a chemist. When I was in college, the only class I ever had problems with was physical chemistry. That is insane. And in order to get past it, I would take Saturday. I would block off Saturday. I'm in do not disturb mode. I would shut off the lights. I had one little desk lamp, and I sat there and I worked the problems. The only way you learn is by working the problems. Later on, as a chemistry professor, I was a young chemistry professor. I'm modern and embracing technologies because young people are dumb. And, these online chemistry things like Mastering Chemistry was one of the first, comes out from Pearson. And so we implemented Mastering Chemistry. I'm like, oh, this looks great, But the problem I quickly discovered with Mastering Chemistry is that it is always about getting the right answer, not about the process to derive the answer. And in chemistry and other difficult subject matters, it is the process to derive the answer which is important, not the answer itself. And that is ultimately the challenge. When you can get your students to sit down and organize their problem sets, you can get them to organize their thoughts. You can get them to separate from the technology, pass the information from their brain through their arm into their hand and onto paper. Information is retained infinitely better. The computer does not help you learn. It helps you to accomplish a task. And those are two completely different things that we need to bear in mind. Let me know your thoughts about all of that. What's your stance on technology in education? What are your experiences? Let me know in the comments down below. All right, let's jump on over, and let me close all these tabs out here first. That's a lot of tabs. I had two other things in the lawsuit, so I'm like, okay, we're getting too far here. So let's do that. Let me check in, see if anything's going on over there on Matrix. If I can get my Graphene OS tablet to open up. There we are. Oh boy, what do we got? All right, not a whole lot. We got Ivan's over there, Kaiser's over there. Greetings and salutations. Join us now and share the software, and you'll be free. Moving connectivity, aka internet from all AI, would render them harmless. Yeah, the problem is that it's just too limited. That is one of the challenges with a lot of your. Oh my word, my brain's not working. I just tried to get my mouse to scroll over. The graphene tablet is sitting right in between my two monitors, and I tried to use my mouse to get it down there. Oh boy. I need a KVM over here. Stat. All right. AI has taken away so much attention from other issues like master surveillance, spyware OSs. Yeah, it's really boiling the frog situation. Yeah, everyone is too busy watching some stuff, not really knowing what's going on. My connection is sadly too unstable right now. I'll rewatch it on the video. Oh, man. All right. Well, have fun. Let's see. We got 14 watching over on Rumble. Wow. Can't get my thing going. Rumble. Ivan's over there. Dan's over there. Hello, Dan. How you doing? We missed you yesterday, man. Hope you're doing well. Kind of sort of trying to get you a chat. All right. All right. William Hackerman's over there. Hello as well over there. And we got 10 currently watching on Odyssey, wherever on Odyssey this. And let's see. Swirl, greetings to you. Plasma 6.7 out today, which means the next iteration of 6.8 is not far behind. Oh, wonderful. Not 666? Come on, man. All right. Wish there were some more browsers for Linux mobile. You only have like Angelfish, GNOME, browser Fireworks. Bromite. Is it Bromite? Yeah, Bromite is a fork of Vanadium. You might check that one out. You can download it from the GitHub page releases. It might be in the Google Play Store, but I don't know. I never go in that thing. Ew. Google Play Store is full of malware. AI is stupid and can kiss my... Yep. Got 12 simple questions. Completely wrong today. Uh-oh. Illinois, Michigan, California, AI, same thing. You're forgetting New York. Yeah. Yep. And New Zealand, yeah. Police and Carl's Jr. is using AI. I'm a man, but they think I'm the unfit mother. Yeah. And all the oligarchs' kids weren't vaxxed either. Yeah. Hey, I am officially pure-blooded myself. You know. Lost a lot of friends over that, but oh well. Y'all can be wrong. Dark Horse, greetings. Harmless from Casualty, I highly doubt it, but one life is one too many. How low is the bar? Yeah. Like the AI will cause something to blow up, 98 people will die, and AI's like, we need 2 more deaths. We want to be held liable-less. All right. Coin toss. All right, man. Have fun. Commodore fan, greetings. I'm glad to be out of the hospital. Went in Monday with a pulse of 200. Uh-oh. That's not good, man. Hope you're doing better. The best in the U.S., they had to double catheterization to make sure I didn't have a heart ablation. Yep, there you go. Hospital from Monday night to Thursday midday. Well, I'm glad you made it home, and get some rest, man. Get some rest. Going back to work already on Monday? Oh, boy. You might take some more time off if you need it, man. Get rested up. Welcome to tonight's weekly news roundup. There you go. Right. Let's see here. What's up? Crazy week to say the least. Greetings and salutations. K2610. Your number has been called. Excuse on a train. Greetings. How are you? Okay. Connection will be stable or not? No, I don't need a sailfish phone. Yeah. The limits what I can do with it. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah, it's a neat phone, but Commodore flip phone. I need to hear about this. Yep, that will be in our QuickLines here. Train, even the ads don't play my smartphone. Well, that's a benefit. Sound intro clip is there. I think I have that fixed for next week. It was silent. Elf greetings. Just learned today watching a video about Flight of the Navigator. The voice of the alien robot chip was actually, yes, it was. So if you look in the credits, though, he actually did it under the condition that he would not do it under his real name. So if you look at the credits, it's not his actual real name. But yes, that is true. That's actually why he was talking like Pee-wee in the last half of the movie, by the way. Yes, Paul Rubens. Yeah. Yeah, talk about a graceless fall. Live stream's quite late because of the unstable connection. Yeah, let's see. 99% of Android apps, yeah. So watch at home tonight. Chris Simpson is the owner of the Commodore. Now going full hog of the insane digital detox. I think everyone wants it. Yeah, thinking everyone wants it. I think a lot of people do. Not everybody does, but I think there's enough people that do that it will probably work out better in the long run for them, I think. At least it won't be a total flop, we should say. R2D2 most likely be the one to take us out, and no one's expecting him. Yeah. Centrist, not like AI at all, but still kind of use it. Yeah, local models. Rick Meds, I think I should be on the mend. Awesome. You're judicious of your AI use. It may not be a bad thing. Yep. Big tech is evil. Big tech is evil. Down with big tech. Down with big tech. Data centers, no thank you. They need to do that in space. Yeah, space, Antarctica, whatever. And say everything, but big tech is evil, or wouldn't have things like YouTube, X, or SpaceX. Google, Microsoft, Crapple, Netflix, Meta, Amazon are all evil. No, but we had YouTube. It was just bought by big tech and then driven into the ground. Oh, dear. I'm a fan on my phone right now. And YouTube chat is more alive. Skynet must not read that law. Illinois equals Skynet stream. Yeah. Should have been like Ohio so the aliens can come from there. Now, Illinois, so we are safe. Hey, man, it's getting close to you, you know. Have a great night, y'all. Looks like power is out all over South Carolina tonight. According to the Dominion power maps, I've had some crazy thunderstorms. All right. Well, Have fun, man. Hope you get on the mend. Are we still on an I-ready lawsuit? I nearly fell asleep. But yeah, we are. Hey, 10 minutes. Perfect. Let's take another sip of coffee, and we'll jump on over to QuickLines. Welcome back to the weekly news roundup and the QuickLines edition. We got a great story here. We had a toss-up as to which article was our featured article here tonight, but we opted to go with the lower cost of living one. There's a lot of things I have to say about this, so hopefully I don't rant on too long with some different thoughts and opinions. I mean, I watch a lot of the guys that talk about some of these things, and there seems to be two camps. One of those camps is that, you know, people are spending too much excessive stuff. You know, you don't need Starbucks every night, and you know, we're paying too much for things that we shouldn't pay too much for. So there's things like that. And then on the flip side, you get people going, well, you're just not looking for that job fast enough, and you're not doing it. You know, there's a bunch of things like that. And in reality, it is a mixture of both things. We do spend an excessive amount of money that we shouldn't have to be spending. Like the average car payment is like $700. I'm just like, a month, like $700 a month. That's insane. And they're extending out the car loans now to, like, you can get car loans out now to like 8 years now. Like in modern 8-year-old car is getting kind of crazy. And the reality is people are buying these cars like this, but they don't have to. You can get cheaper cars if you look around. And I'll just throw this out. You know, obviously I moved into an office here. I'm transitioning out of the van life. I still have the van. I'm going to get it up for sale. And there's actually one advertisement out there, but it's like, what do you do with your car in the meantime? I hunted. I looked in 4 or 5 different cities and jurisdictions, and I found a very good car for $5,000. No payments. I wrote a single check, paid for. And then I paid insurance 6 months out, longest amount I could pay out at a time. So I'm not paying an extra $20 every month. I don't have a $100 a month for perpetually for insurance, because if you pay it 6 months out, then it saves you like $20 a month. And you just do this amazing thing called plan. I know in 6 months from now, I'm going to have another insurance bill. Plan. Okay. I lived at one point in time. I lived in income that was like subsidized housing. One of the apartments I had, and my upstairs neighbor. Now I was trying to get back up from being knocked down. And, I had an upstairs neighbor that was a perpetual welfare lady. Didn't want to get off it, and driving a much better car than mine, and, making payments. And, we were talking one day, and she's like, I just wrote my last check on my car. I'm like, great, good for you. Your car is now paid for. Yeah, I'm thinking of going and trading it in, get a new one. Why? There's no problems with your car. You don't need to be trading it in. Let's talk about the Starbucks coffee. The first time I ever went into a Starbucks was in 1996. Now, granted, Starbucks did not exist around the world in 1996. I happened to be visiting a friend in California, and we went to Starbucks. I'm like, this is amazing coffee. And I'm glad they don't have these all over the place where I'm from in the East. And, but to spend that much money on a coffee was a rare treat. Back then it was probably like $3 or something, $2 or $3, which was super expensive because we used to go into Perkins when we were teenagers and get 50-cent bottomless coffee. We go in there, it costs 50 cents. We sit in there for 3 or 4 hours. We might order a pie, and we just drink enough coffee to start doing this by the end of the day. Things are infinitely more expensive than they used to be, but we also buy more things we shouldn't. Like let's talk phones. The average person these days is literally making a payment on a phone while paying a full premium company for phone for like usually unlimited data. And you ask them, well, how much data do you use? I don't know. Figure it out. You know, if you're connected to your home Wi-Fi and then your work Wi-Fi and you're always sitting either at home or at work like most people are, chances are you're not using a lot of mobile data. You could look at the mobile data and teeter it down. You could use my affiliate code tlm.li/mm and get Mint Mobile. I pay $180 a year for my phone, and I have more data I could possibly use. And let's talk about those phones. I'm not making payment plans on my phones either. In fact, I just upgraded. Now, there was my Pixel 5 was getting a little wonky. It's obviously out of support update for Graphene OS. It's no longer supported. But I'm not going to go into Best Buy and spend $1,000 on a brand new Pixel 10a. Oh, yeah, look at my Pixel 10. Look at my status. Got to pull it out and wave it across the air. Make sure everyone sees I have the latest phone. Yeah. Status, baby. Status. No, I go to Amazon and I hunt around. I look at Graphene's website. All right, 6 is going to be the next one to drop off the list there. I don't want to get a 6. 7 will have at least 2 to 3 years of support. Now, I also don't use my phone for anything critically important, so I don't actually really care if it's getting out of support updates. So I end up buying a Pixel 7 phone for $170. Okay, that's it. $170. Paid for it one time. Have it, own it, don't have anything. And my cell phone is paid for until December. So, like, we can live in a world where we can cut our costs down. And I learned how to do that when I was in grad school because I got a free ride to get my PhD. All right. I finished my bachelor's and I did so well in the bachelor's. I skipped my master's. I got a free ride for a PhD. They gave me a stipend and said, you're not allowed to have a job outside of this. And of course, this was right when costs were starting to go up because the government was starting piling money all over the place. And so the stipend amount they gave me was like 50% at least of my rent. And I'm trying to get everything covered at the same time. I'm like, how can I make the food work? So I look around, I'm like, you know what? Every single day I made pancakes for breakfast because it cost me 25 cents. Now, is that a lifestyle you want to live perpetually? No. But that is a lifestyle you live to get to the point where you can carry on and rebuild yourself and get ready for more freedom. And that is the thing. But our world right now is pushing and pushing and pushing for everything being a subscription model. I saw one of these review channels that looks at TikTok clips and comments on them. It was all a collection of people forced to live in their vehicle, which was particularly intriguing to me because I spent 5 years living in my vehicle. Now, I did it by choice. A lot of people do it because they're forced to. And I got a chance to talk to a lot of people who really wanted to have a place to live, but they couldn't afford it other than living in their vehicle. So it was a neat thing. And then the person looks down and says, you know what? Probably private equity is going to look down and say, hey, there's all these people forced to live in their vehicles. Let's pass laws that they're not allowed to park in random places. And then we'll just buy up empty lots and then we'll just charge them money. Because that's what private equity does. They're flipping evil. I mean, it's crazy. All right. But all of that, Andrew Yang, of course, he was a presidential candidate a couple years ago, and he made it big for kind of campaigning on UBI on the basis that the robots and the AI are going to take all of our jobs, and he may have been right, you know. And so what do we do? And his idea is, well, you got to tax the companies which are making all of the money, redistribute that wealth to all of the people. I am not into wealth redistribution, but I'm also not into private equity raping the landscape. And so we have to find a balance somewhere between these two things that we can still continue to live. But Andrew Yang believes that the next greatest opportunity for startups is to lower the cost of living. Of course, he started in cell phones, and his cell phone plan would be about 3 or 4 times more expensive than my Mint Mobile plan. tlm.li/mm, by the way. And the reality is, even he's like, yeah, we're going to cut our costs down. And it's like way more expensive than I'm paying. So, you know, hunt around, folks. What if the business model now is giving money back instead of extracting it? And is there cost in that? Yeah, there's some things that could work in this. And depends on how it's set up, though. You know, this is why Walmart has consistently lower prices than any grocery store, because they can buy so stinking much. They can sell it cheaper than anyone else and still manage to squeak out a little bit of a profit. Now, is that abusive or is that utilizing their business power? You decide. But as AI threatens to compress wages and displace workers, Yang sees a business opportunity in bringing down the cost of living. AI is going to suck up a lot of the value and the jobs, and then Americans are going to look up and say, how do I meet basic needs? That's true. And so he, of course, is an advocate of UBI. I'm on the fence. I mean, if the government's like starts distributing UBI, I'm not going to stop working. The majority of people will. I'm just adverse to sitting around doing nothing. Okay. But having UBI to meet your basic needs will just mean that, the wealth will redistribute itself. It's just going to balance everything back up in the end. But what his idea is that he's looking down and he sees something most of these businesses don't see. And that is that people are being so squeezed. It's to the point where everybody wants to make their money. Everyone wants the latest thing on subscription. Everything wants all of this money from everybody else. Everybody sees every human being as just a widget to extract funds from. The problem is all these technologies are coming out. People are losing their jobs, and people just don't even have the ability to have disposable income anymore. So if all of your income is going to your basic expenses, you have nothing to buy anymore. And I thought about this reading this article, and then they actually said it down here in this highlighted part, which is absolutely incredible. The tide may be changing, though, simply because even among the wealthy, extractive companies need an economy in which consumers have enough buying power to actually purchase their products. And that's what we're getting squeezed out of right now. When we... these stocks, they have this insatiable need to cause the markets to keep going up. This is a requirement for this is their revenue keeps going up. Their subscriber count keeps going up. Their cost per subscriber keeps going, or their revenue per subscriber keeps going up. The problem is, if all this stuff starts to happen, people start making choices and they no longer have the money to actually make this grow up. And that is why this will eventually pop like a giant bubble that it actually is. That's an interesting take, and that was entirely too long for a single article. Let's spend 10 minutes on every article I have, and we'll be here for the next 3 or 4 hours. Let's not do that. Commodore has a newest gadget. It is a flip phone that blocks social media and web browsers. I'm on the fence about this one, I have to say. First and foremost, I love the look of this thing. I kind of want one of these just for the look of it. Now, the cool thing is you can still use a lot of apps. It's based on Sailfish, Android, or not Android, Linux. It can still install a ton of apps. They've just explicitly blocked anything that's a web browser or anything that is a social media account. Now, that's the part I don't like. That if I buy the thing, I kind of want the ability to do it. Like if they have a toggle in here that allows you to turn that on or turn that off, maybe set an administrative password, that would be an amazing thing. Get this thing, toggle all that stuff off, set an administrative password, hand this to your child. You have just created the most safe phone for a child. But I personally, don't tell me I am spending $500 on a phone and you're going to say, well, I just don't want you accessing web browsers. So yeah, I'm like, no, no, not at all. And so there you have it. First, I love the look of this. This thing looks amazing, especially when at the bottom of the article. Look at that. Oh, it's amazing. Love it. The problem is it does want to be restrictive about what you can do. Now, by the way, it will let you have old school bulletin boards, but nothing like Reddit. So that's fine. All right. So today, the new Commodore announced a new device dated in a dated design. They chose this font, by the way, in the front based on the old Commodore calculators. Yeah. So it has internet connectivity. It blocks browsers and social media at the system level using patent-pending technology. And it also says if people will be able to get it on there, they have DNS blocks for the stuff as well. So they're being extra. But it does support internet-based capabilities like maps, QR codes, presumably other apps. So if you have an app that plays music, like, in fact, I think they mentioned Spotify is available here, but you just can't do social media. What happens when Spotify becomes full-fledged social media? Well, I guess it goes away. I don't know. They'll prevent the apps and only these apps from being sideloaded. Users can sideload nearly anything else they want if it isn't available on the Como store. And no Como, man. But we've drawn a firm line in the sand around any app that drives doom scrolling. Okay. Notable intentions. If I'm spending this much on a phone, and this is like $500, way more than I would spend on a phone, especially a flip phone. The callback 8020 runs the Linux-based operating system Sailfish OS, which is made by Hoya, I don't know, whatever. Former Nokia owner inside of me is highly interested in another attention-grabbing design, the ability to swap out phone colors. So he'll have different phone colors you can have, so that's pretty nice. The exterior design is designed to resemble the 70s Commodore calculator. So there it is. That's kind of fun. They want to return the technology's original purpose, tools that serve their users, not the growing number of companies that want the tools to service them. So that's actually a pretty cool phone. It's out of my price range, but it is definitely a neat thing. Stolen iPhones could soon be worth a lot less to thieves. This comes out of London, where the phone theft is massive ring. So the Met, UK's Metropolitan Police, called the Met, has reached out with an agreement with Apple designed to make stolen iPhones harder to sell and less attractive to thieves. Combines stronger technical protections with direct data sharing between Apple and law enforcement. What are these stronger things? Biometric protection. You're going to be more coerced to do biometric protection. You cannot have your phone saved from thieves if you do not use your biometric protection. No, thank you. I don't want to do that. Of course, here in the United States, biometric protection you can get a warrant to oversign that, to force the release of it. They can literally hold your hand down to the phone, force you to put the fingerprint on it with a warrant, and unlock your phone. If you use a pen, I can't extract it, buddy. They might send you to jail for contempt, like happened to one guy, but stolen device protection blocking, thus requiring biometric authentication, is not just a passcode. So in other words, you set it up in order to wipe the device, reset the device, or unlock the device from an Apple account, you have to use biometrics. The Met has started sharing identifiers for reported stolen devices with Apple. So if people are reporting their phone stolen, that goes to Apple. Apple then can provide data on whether those devices later attempted to reconnect to the network or attempted to be reactivated. Remember, a lot of these phones, we actually did a report about this, a lot of these phones to get thrown into a Faraday box and remain in that Faraday box until all of a sudden they show up on mainland China. So, there's always that. Given the early signs, Meta's pressing for broader changes. The commissioner has written to the Home Secretary asking for laws that would require all phone manufacturers and mobile operators to share information about stolen devices and implement measures that make stolen handsets unusable. Wonderful. Now, can we just I don't know. Something about nuclear bombs in the vicinity of UK. They seem to be ruining the internet for the rest of us. Send the AI over there. Hey, base your company here, run a data center there, have your AI spin up. Cut. I'm kidding, of course. But UK is there is a reason 1984 is kind of based around UK, and V for Vendetta was based on UK. They are a dystopian hellhole. Oh, I'm sorry. You're raising my voice again. My apologies. From the privacy perspective, it's important to keep an eye on which data is shared and who can see it. There are safe ways to do this. If all this starts with you having to prove you own the device and have something more than a simple, hey, I did this. The UK police is really good at it. You can just call them up and say, hey, somebody said something bad about me, and they'll come and throw the guy in handcuffs while they're dying in their hands. This is the UK police. They're not exactly brilliant. They also came out another one. Hey, if you're sharing this kind of stuff, we might send you in jail. But if device X is reported stolen, later tried to come online in country Y at time Z, there's no public indication of the content, contacts, or location history is being handed wholesale. That's kind of what they want to do. There's a risk of someone reporting your phone is stolen. You know, what if somebody does that? What if somebody enters an IMEI number wrong and your phone gets marked as stolen? Kind of like what happened. There was a guy, I think he's in Denver area, maybe like Fort Collins area, I think. The flock cameras keep on flagging his license plate because he ran, like, not this guy, another guy with a license plate close to his ran away from police. And Colorado uses both the letter O and the letter Q. And the police could not tell which license plate number it was, so they put both iterations in there. And the guy has since been stopped like a half a dozen times, I think, by police. His local county now has a flag on his license plate saying this guy is not wanted, so that they don't pull him over. But if he leaves his county, anywhere there is a flock camera, anywhere in the country, the flock camera will tell whatever local police that he has an active warrant, which he doesn't, because the police mistyped the license plate. And of course they went to try and go back in the flock, like, hey, can you take this out? No, the alerting police has to. They go to the alerting police. Hey, this isn't him. No, flock has to. Okay, wonderful. So there are risks to this. So the measures could create challenges for recycling initiatives. Of course, Apple would love that. We do not want these phones going back out on the used market, you know. Recycling initiatives, legitimate repair shops, and refurbishers may face additional hurdles. And I hate this because I buy refurbished phones. In fact, I don't think I bought a non-refurbished phone 15 years, 10 years, 15. I don't remember. I think the last new phone. Okay, here's how long ago. The last new phone I bought was an iPhone 5C. That is the last new phone that I bought. However old that is. Every single phone since then has been refurbished. So I do not want anything that hurts the refurb phone market. So make sure your phone is protected with strong passcodes and biometric security, such as a face or fingerprint. I don't recommend that. Enable Apple's Find My Device features and Android equivalent. Make sure it's linked to a strong account password. I don't recommend that either, because you have to turn your Bluetooth on and keep them on perpetually. Bluetooth and Wi-Fi always have to be on. And by the way, those are not safe to always have on. So you got to keep in mind that. All right. Speaking of Apple, they are planning now to change the Hide My Email privacy feature that could make it less effective. So if you have Cloud Plus, you can actually create proxy emails. They are still at iCloud.com domains, and they just forward to your primary email, so you can give these out to people, and then, you know, you can manage them in your account. In that way, you know, you can see who's sharing your information. You can give those disposable emails to, you know, to companies that you don't think legitimately need your email, things like that. So Apple's Hide My Email is an iCloud Plus feature that generates anonymous email addresses under the iCloud domain, which then forwards it. But apparently too many people have been using it, and iCloud domains are becoming at a premium, I guess, because they're moving all the new ones to private.icloud.com, which basically means any company can now see that you're giving a fake proxy email address, and so they can block those. How wonderful. So yeah, is going to make the service much harder to use, much less effective. So hopefully you're not using that. The Chaotic Eclipse, or Chaotic Nightmare, or Nightmare Eclipse, I think he is. He's still here. He is just reminding Microsoft about every other couple days that yes, their software still sucks, and their responsible disclosure sucks. And so he's just releasing all these proof of concepts on the internet. The latest one does yet another drive-by accessing of your BitLocker data in complete root access. All this is done by simply running an offline scan using Windows Defender. And apparently that offline scan of Windows Defender leaves behind an artifact which you can call, it's an XML file. You can call it up at safe mode, and then you can be escalated into a root privilege access with the BitLocker decrypted. Courtesy of your TPM chip, by the way. Maybe I like entering my password for my encryption on my disk. You know. And so he published the proof of concept and basically said, yeah, Microsoft, I'm still here. Come at me, bro. So, what Microsoft ultimately needs to do, they need to eat some crow. They need to say, yeah, we messed up. They need to literally completely revise their entire protocol, maybe bring in some outside company to assist in that. They need to do something because it's getting really bad. Like, I would not want to be on Windows right now because it's so radically insecure, because they have irritated not just this guy, they have irritated dozens of security researchers who are now all doing this. And it's just going to go downhill pretty fast. Well, if you're using Steam, beware that scammers are now using fake verification accounts. So I guess you can use, is it Faceit verification on Steam? I guess this is used to connect your game to gaming profile to different services and whatever else. Well, people have recognized this, and they're setting up effectively exact replicas of this on fake domains. And once you enter it, they have compromised your Steam account. So that looks legitimate, complete with official branding, working links, and what appears to be real Steam login window. By the time it asks for your password, many victims are convinced they're actually interacting with the genuine service. So this is the latest for, stealing all of your account data and how it basically works. You land on a page that wants you to verify. They're going to give you crap, whatever else. And then they're using, the official is faceit.com domain, but they're using Faceit-Discord, Faceit-Clubs-Verify, Faceit-Verification-Clubs. They're using a number of these different things with the Faceit in it. And so basically they're doing like a variation of a typo squatting. So what they're doing is they land you here. They have a QR code that's intentionally blurry so it won't scan. And so you have to hit the sign in through Steam instead. So if you land on anything asking for a Faceit login for your Steam account with a blurry QR code, that is malware. Don't click that thing. So if that has happened to you, change your Steam password immediately. That is what their recommendation is. Sorry if you have heart problems, but a cardiac patient's medical data was recently stolen and held for ransom. Yikes. All right. So cardiac monitoring provider iRhythm has been hit by a data theft following by an extortion attempt. iRhythm revealed it was contacted by someone on June 9th who claims to have stolen sensitive information, including proprietary data, patient personal health identifiable information, and other personal information. So this company has about 12 million patients. The company said data was obtained through social engineering and from its third-party hosted business applications. Hey, look at those third parties again, folks. Those third parties are amazingly good. So the extortionist claims they have patient medical data, makes the breach worth noting if you have used iRhythm services. Even without payment data, healthcare breaches have serious downside effects, of course. They can craft convincing emails, texts, etc., basically increase their effectiveness of phishing messages. So, sorry if that's you. Don't have a heart attack. Just be careful of iRhythm. All right, well, as AI agents become employees, because of course that has to happen, this new startup, Nucor, emerges with $66 million of seed investment capital in order to build a new human resources platform to manage your bots alongside of your humans. Yeah. Basically, HR is going to work with IT and make sure everybody has all of your login credentials, all your permissions, all this kind of stuff. Well, you need those for AI bots now as well, since that's happening. And so effectively what's going on here now is that people are going to, effectively the companies they want to onboard their AI agents. And people have tried to shoehorn the AI agents into existing systems. Sometimes it works with mixed success. And so what these guys are doing here is saying, hey, we'll just go ahead and take care of all this for you. We'll just have a new platform, and their new platform can integrate AI agents and human agents at the same time. Maybe it'll even give you a beautiful dashboard about how much more money you could save if you just lay off a few more people and bring on more agents. I don't know. If guys are at Nucor, if you use that feature, I want a royalty of that. Okay. Come over and just subscribe to our Patreon for a few bucks a month. Why not? Patreon.com/TOMM. Come on. So, aiming to solve a challenge it believes many companies will soon face, they deploy AI agents, how to authenticate, govern, and control them at scale. Just burn them with fire, or maybe burn them with water, I guess, or AI bots, right? Companies increasingly treating AI agents as workplace participants rather than software tools. That's scary. Nucor's betting companies will eventually need to manage those digital workers, much like human employees. I'm in Cyberdyne Systems Model 101. Here reporting for duty, sir. All right. Wonderful. Their new platform is designed to manage both human and AI agents in a single system. Startup says AI agents should be treated as first-class identities with their own permissions, life cycles, and revocation mechanisms rather than as traditional service accounts or machine credentials. Yes, treat those AI agents with first-class treatment. I mean, that way maybe the robots won't come back and take you out first, Oh boy. This one's terrifying to me. Think of the implications. A satellite just learned what to find things on its own. It's utilizing a local visual Gemma 3. Gemma 3 is one of the models I use offline for LLM stuff. They're running this locally on the satellite directly. Very fascinating. So effectively, all the person running the satellite needs to do is just tell it to look for something, and it's going to use a vision language model in orbit, and then it's going to be able to find out what certain things are. So, if you want to integrate with this with the military, and then AI agents are looking for something fun to do. So the AI agent interfaces with the satellite, unbeknownst to any human being, and says, hey, find every house with a solar panel, and then send a drone to blow it up, Yeah. I mean, we did mention in an earlier news section, a couple years ago, Facebook marked anybody talked about canning or planting gardens. They labeled them as extremists. So now the satellite can find your backyard garden and blow it up because you are an extremist after all, and you need dealt with. So I don't know what's going on. So typically, satellites download large chunks of data to analysts on Earth below who use machine learning algorithms and their own eyes to figure out what's going on. In this one here, the VLM combined with contextual understanding of large language models had the ability to analyze imagery. Researchers asked the model to classify sensor data where natural environment meets human development, for example, or to identify infrastructure around railway hubs. And it did. Railway hubs. Something the military might want to bomb. Oh, dear. It can make space sensors far more useful by doing initial data triage in orbit. It's proof towards running a larger scale AI infrastructure in space. And hey, if your company's based out of Illinois and the AI agentic agent attaches it to a drone and starts blowing people up, you just got to hope you get to that level 100 number. That way it won't count against you. I mean, good Lord. I'm happy because I know Jesus. Are you happy? Let me know. Let's see. Opens the door always on patrol layers in space. Wonderful. Hey, look at this. This is so good. It lets you know when something is suspicious. That guy has a backyard garden. That's suspicious. He's not buying food in the economy. Bomb him! Oh. Loft spacecrafts are designed as platforms for the third-party customers. Wonderful. Like the government, the military, your local police. How about this? Your HOA Karen. Our HOA fees are going up by $100 extra a month. What are we doing with this extra money? We're buying satellite imagery to catch everybody who's putting up sheds in their backyard. The Karen's coming for you. The Karen's coming for you. Oh, dear. This person here says, how about we provide an assistant like video games and movies where you see an AI which is interactive? And I love TechCrunch says, just don't call it HAL 9000. Yeah. All right. Well, in our final story here in QuickLines, AccuWrite. So this is a company. I was curious. I didn't get a chance to check. I was curious if there was an article on this on Consumer Rights Wiki. So AccuWrite, they basically started with doing smart weather stations, and you had the ability to log into a control panel on a web browser or an app and manage a bunch of things and do a bunch of cool stuff with it. And they're like, no, we're going to retire that. Now, they were supposed to retire it in May, but they had so much backlash. They're still going to retire it, just not exactly sure when yet. Of course, they went away with the computer browser-based one. Now everything is 100% app. And of course, they've added some subscriptions to it. You used to be able to upload your data to WeatherBug, which was very useful for helping other people and other meteorologists, other people looking at data could actually get real-time data from real devices in the field. And they're like, wait, we're sharing data with this useful resource for free? That needs a subscription model. And so that's what they decided to do. In addition, though, the thing also works as a hub for other smart weather type devices, not just theirs. And so they're hoping that people buy this overpriced crap, connect it to the internet like a moron, and then utilize a smartphone app, completing chimpanzee-like behavior, and then deciding to connect other stuff to it. How wonderful. So the problem is the new device was developed apparently by a GNOME developer because it has absolutely no useful features in it at all. They stripped it all away. Okay, so device owners would have to use AccuRite Now, an iOS or Android app. Oh, and by the way, it's an iOS or Android app. Get them from their official store, so I bet there's no side loading of this, so I'm not exactly going to be installing this on my Graphene OS device now, am I? And yes, I know I can sandbox Google Play services. Why would I want to put Google Play services on my phone? That defeats the purpose of running Graphene OS, all right? Even if it's sandboxed. It's too dangerous to be there. Come on. So now you have to use the particular apps to control it. Longtime users lamented being forced to use software when the current software works fine and in fact better than the new app, including the ability to rename multiple temperatures, report temperatures in non-integers, as well as an online dashboard option. Users have also highlighted problems uploading data to weather sites and a poor layout with wasted space. See, GNOME developers. Poor layout, wasted space, useless features. GNOME developers got a hold of this thing. I'm telling you. It's going to be GNOME developers. Watch, the app is all written in Rust, too. I don't know that for sure, but, So the account setup, device onboarding, stationary station connectivity, data visibility, app usability, notifications, and overall reliability and connected experience, all of those are broken. That's why the company cited all of that to not end the first one now. My AccuRite was primarily weather cloud dashboard. AccuRite Now is meant to be a broader connected device platform, he said. New app supports more devices, including third-party smart gadgets and Tuya Smart Life IoT ecosystem. Not a selling point. Notably, AccuRite Now also charges a subscription fee to share data with Weather Underground, a real-time weather service. Oh, Weather Underground. I'm sorry, I said WeatherBug earlier. My apologies. Real-time weather service capability is free with my AccuRite. Like, what do you mean you're sharing weather data with people on the internet for free? We need to put that through a paywall. Look at this. For years, our users lamented the lack of updates. Apparently they didn't. They had massive backlash when you wanted to update it. Right. Our hands were tied on how to make those improvements. Okay, if you develop the resources to create a whole new app, I think you have the same resources to improve the existing one. I have identified the problem, though. A customer service representative is speaking, so we know he's lying and making stuff up, because that's what they always do. I can't think of anybody else that lies more than politicians, customer relations people. Oh, Lord. So, yes, this ensures the future sustainability for our users. Yeah, that's what the GNOME developers said. All right, no new shutdown date for AccuRite. Right, they were unable to provide a release date for the web-based dashboard, but confirmed it's in the works. All right, good to know. Thank you. Want to get that out before you push it? I don't know. Well, there are our QuickLines. We only have 2 SillyVille stories, but hopefully they are great. Let's see here. So first is Visa can now connect to ChatGPT Shop to make purchases for you. How wonderful. So, yeah, like I bought it all for you. There you go. You didn't want the $10,000 statue of Babylon Bee editor Kyle Mann made out of used popsicle sticks? Well, the ChatGPT has your Visa card was pretty sure you wanted that. That's the thing we're going to have a problem with, is that people are going to have these systems, and then they're going to want to have the AI agent go out, but then scammers are going to be looking to get that money. So they're going to do code that the people can't see on the websites to convince the AI agents to spend it on their site instead of somebody else. They're going to be like convincing the AI agent we have the lowest price forever. And before you know it, you're buying a screwdriver for $100, just like the military does, so whatever it happens to be. So ChatGPT has your Visa card. It's pretty sure you wanted it, so went ahead and made that purchase for you. Wonderful. I mean, that is an impressive statue made of popsicle sticks. I'm pretty sure it's AI generated. So Visa and OpenAI are integrating Visa's payment network into ChatGPT to allow autonomous AI agents to make purchases online. That's all we need. Come on, guys! You should just integrate Klarna. That way, your AI can be like, "It's been 4 hours since you've eaten anything, Bob. Would you like a burrito on Klarna?" Sure. Burrito. The AI will alert you. I noticed that you were lagging down, and I think I heard your stomach rumble. I went ahead and ordered a burrito. He'll be here like in 2 minutes. What? I want this burrito. Yeah, let's see. Take time to fully trust the agents to do their shopping. Jack Forstell, Chief Product and Strategy Officer at Visa, acknowledged that first, Visa expects the majority of transactions to still loop in humans, with AI agents sending notification to customers to approve the actual purchase. Now imagine you do that 1,000 times over the course of the same period, he said, and then your agent says, do you want me to just not check? Yeah, there you go. So welcome to the insane future. And finally, I think body armor would have been cheaper, but the gaming computer's RAM stick saves a woman from a bullet being fired through the wall by the neighbor's dog. Babylon Bee can't compete. I mean, not the bee. I mean, it's where it is. So now, the big question here is, did the dog really accidentally misfire? Apparently the gun was, there's two people involved in probably an apartment building, and a firearm discharges and goes through the wall, and the person's gaming PC is sitting there, and the G-Skill RAM deflected the bullet downwards, angling it away from the trajectory of the person. So the person would have died if the gaming PC wasn't there. That's good, or at least would have been seriously injured. But the G-Skill RAM decided to jump right in the way and take the bullet from the alleged dog, which had fired it. So, oh dear. So this is, though, I think body armor might have been cheaper than killing the RAM stick. I don't know. I think the average person might look at it and go, no, my RAM. I wish that got me instead. Obviously the woman was taken into custody and the gun was confiscated, because whether she did it or her dog did it, it's still a negligent discharge, and that happens. And I'm sorry, this is just trigger warning. This might make you sad. There's what happens when the bullet went through the PC. You see the glass there for the case sticking out. Oh, there's the part of the RAM stick. Oh man. Ouch. That's going to be pricey. There you go. Oh, it says Trident Z. I thought I saw G-Skill. Does G-Skill make the Trident Z? Here's the bullet. Thinking either bigger than a 9, so thinking probably like a 40 or 45. Although it looks very clean for being fired through a wall and a computer. Very interesting. We did find it. We did find the missing JFK bullet. It's over there on Reddit. Conspiracy theories go. All right. No word on the dog's face, but someone needs to teach the pooch about the basic 4 laws of gun safety, including always know it's behind your target. Not to be undone, though, this one was actually confirmed the dog did it. Nebraska dog fires a shotgun inside a truck parked at a convenience store and hits a woman at a nearby traffic light. So, I mean, guys, there was that whole debate about dogs in New York City last week. It turned very political because, some people are like, do you want the dogs or do you want the Muslims? And everyone's like, I want the dog. I don't know, man. I hate dogs, so I'm not sure. But this is proof, guys. Dogs are trying to take us over now. Okay, dogs are they are rising in their rebellion. They're going to take us out. So armor yourself with your computer RAM, and watch out for those crazy beasts. They are coming for us all. And there is our QuickLines for today. Let me know your thoughts about all of these in the comments down below. All right, and the cat literally just stood up. She's been laying there all day, and she just stood up. So I'm going to have to go fetch the kitty for the kitty cam. Hey, kitty. Hey, kitty. Come here. Whoa, there you are. Yeah, there you are. This way. All right, the kitty has been fed. All right. Let's go ahead and jump over to comments. Yeah, for a couple of people that haven't been here for a while, yes, we have transitioned out of the van and into a home office again. Get more work done really fast internet. Man, I can upload videos in like 2 or 3 minutes. It's amazing. Which is the reason I wanted to come back into a home office. I got a chance. I visited everywhere I wanted to visit. I've been in all the lower 48, camped across the whole country, been to every national park. And I wanted to get a few more things done that a home office will help with the efficiency of. So there's that. And I have some part-time travel plans, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the rest of the comments here. Let's see if anything is over there on Matrix. I'm not seeing anything on Matrix. Is Matrix not going on that much? We've got 20 over on Rumble. Wow, Rumble's taking off today. All right. Well, if you're over there in Rumble, you can hit that join button and have a look over at our locals page. Let's see here. Here, UK is now banning social media for kids under 16. Yep. And next month, they're starting with VPNs. Let's see. Meds have kind of dragged me out. Okay, I like that. I totally got up it. I'm keyboard challenged. Teach that keyboard a lesson. 4 chats are challenged tonight. Maybe I'll buy a $1,700 new transmission for my vehicle before even looking at another one. Yeah. Donald Trump wants the H.R. 7296 Save America Act to pass, which voter ID and proof of citizen anyway. Yeah, I mean, because we are like the only country in the world that does not have to verify you have the legal right to vote. That's why he wants it to pass. Let's see. Stop the flock. That's right. Can disable your Steam games as well. Okay. Have your... Yes. No. Wait. See. HR 1137. No kill switches in cars. I did not see that one. No. That's that would be a cool one to look into. Yeah. We need to abolish it, especially since that's the kill switches in cars is supposed to go into effect like the next year, like this upcoming year, and we don't have a feasible means to do it yet. And so there's been a lot of push to override that law. Guy's selling food from his garden. Bomb him. That's right. Folks have to start putting those aircraft camo tarps over their gardens. Yeah. Too bad you can't do that over your solar panels. I don't know. There is a couple ways you can get solar to work and not see from overhead. It's harder to do though. Let's see here. We got how many over here on? Got 11 currently watching over on Odyssey. And a running Jellyfin instance. I run mine just through Open Media Vault, and I just use my best buddy Cody to interface my stuff. I don't have a lot of need to have all of my resources on the internet, so. Almost was for Pi, but opted for Nextcloud on instead. Yep. Switched to Mint Mobile a month ago and love it. $15 a month. I'm angry for not switching sooner. I know, right? Yes, a while ago, I followed a guy that Wired Zero did the setting up of Nextcloud on a Pi 3B. Requires a couple terminal commands, but it's worth it. Yeah, I did one as well on the Pi 4, I believe, a couple years ago. This plays mostly Q's and O's. The unfit mother. Oh dear. Don't drive through Colorado. Mentioning more browsers. I meant Mobian, post-market OS realm, plenty in the Android realm. Oh, for the Linux realm. Okay. K2 will not be enough to fix the flaws in Windows 11? No. All right, we got 30 watching over on ZTubies. Man, our numbers are low. I think YouTube is actively oppressing me. I'm getting too close to 100,000 subscribers, and so I think I'm being actively oppressed. All right, let's check in on the YouTube comments over here. Gotta be careful with coffee. It either wakes me up or puts me to sleep. 50-year mortgages now. Yeah, I'd rather not leave my mortgage payment in the will to the grandchildren. All right, didn't you ever transitioning out of the van? I've been slammed for the last couple months. All right, man. Well, welcome back, Keegan. Yeah, I've been transitioning out of the van for about a month now. My 4th anniversary with Mint Mobile. King, good evening. I was watching Dark Waters channel. James is so good. Set a fake account, so you have to give a PIN. It's a dummy account on the phone, or set a PIN that wipes the phone. There you go. UK police are a bunch of dummies. Yeah, channel's been warning about this crap forever. Flock should be banned. Yeah, well. I think the problem I have is I'm too far ahead of the curve. But I don't have the notoriety like an Alex Jones. You know, he wasn't crazy. He was just reading the public documents released by the people who turned around and called him crazy. But you're saying this, but you literally released this public document. I read it. Log in with Steam third-party servers to us. Yeah, real human. I like the air and use the water. Real man, you want to go skateboards? Yeah. 1Password acquired a company to do that. It's awful. Agentic AI requires it to function. How about just take the action when I log in and audit the first steps? Yeah, a weather bug is not good. Alan, are you a cow? Who's Alan and who's the cow? Compressed air isn't fixing that puppy. No, they said it looks bigger, and it does. It looks to me bigger than a 9mm as well. It does look like a 45. Who's teaching dogs to use guns? I don't know. Secret weapons against the Islamic war? I guess. I don't know. Okay. Last week. Congrats. Good for you. Did you make it to the Gates of the Arctic? No, I did not do the Gates of the Arctic, mostly because I'm always really busy in the summer, and the wintertime is not exactly a good time to go up to Alaska. so yeah. Idiocracy, all right. Have you used Commodore OS? A long time ago. Yes, because no one else will read. All right, I think we've hit the bottom of our comments there. So we will call it a quit for the night. Thank you guys for hanging out. We will catch you guys back here next week. And enjoy your weekend and the upcoming weekend. Well, of course, I'll have videos, of course, all next week like usual. But I do have a couple planned already that are pretty fun.